Welcome back in. This segment brought to you by the Topoco Lodge. When it comes to events, there's no place more special, more perfect than the Topoco Lodge. All kinds of space in a beautiful, secluded setting, plus all the dining options they offer. Multiple rooms, suites, cabins for the guests. Look, this is perfect for meetings, reunions, retreats, weddings. Whatever you're looking for, you see it right there. It's just a great place. I was up there this week. The Topoco Lodge, you need to see it for yourself, but if you're looking for a place to take the company and do some sort of special big meeting or a special getaway for a couple of days, that's the place, the Topoco Lodge. All right, let's talk where I look down at my T's rather than looking at the topic. I've only been doing this 17 years. You'd think I would know how to do this. Straightforward question, guys. With the 2019 Vols with Jarrett Garantano beat the 2018 Vols with Jarrett Garantano, and I say that only to be cute. It's not really about the quarterback, although partially it is, but would the 2019 team beat the 2018 team, in your opinion?
2018 team would be a 10-point favorite.
Over this one?
Yes, your defensive line was better, right? Your quarterback was better, and your defensive coordinator was better on 2018 because Jeremy Pruitt was your defensive coordinator.
Wow,
Goodness gracious, wow. Well, they still gave up a lot of points last year.
A murmur goes through the crowd.
Yeah, well, the last one, question mark. All right. That's
I'm going to agree with Chuck because I sat there and wrote it down, gave which ones I thought I think the offensive line's slightly better this year, but the biggest difference you come up with, and the kicker's better this year, linebacker's better this year, but the quarterback has been so much worse, and I think that's what the difference would be. I don't know if I'd go 10 points, but I think I would go 18. And your DBs played better last year as well.
Yeah, I would look at quarterback, D-line, and defensive backs. This year beat last year or no?
Yeah, without hesitation. We saw last year's team find success. I mean, it beat Auburn on the road. It beat Kentucky. It showed fight throughout the season. Heck, it beat Charlotte and UTEP. Wasn't pretty, but they did that. This team hasn't beaten an FBS team yet. So, sure, 18 over 19.
Unanimous?
I agree. And that team a year ago didn't lose to a team like Georgia State, right?
Yeah. I had a couple of close calls, but it was ugly with Charlotte, but they didn't lose by 2 touchdowns, which is what it would be if you hadn't gotten that last garbage time touchdown. You would have lost by 2 touchdowns at Georgia State.
Now, if we had to watch that game, my goodness. Here's
the go ahead, quickly.
I was about to say, talk about the defensive line last year being so much better. It was a bad defensive line last year.
Yeah.
But it was still much better than this defensive line's been.
Let me ask you this. What's the reason? Is it roster churn? You know, the defensive line, you lost a couple of veterans in Tuttle and Phillips. Is it just, I mean, the way it played out with the roster turning over? Is it coaching? Is it just all on the quarterback? I don't think that's the case. No. Is it a lack of motivation? They certainly haven't seemed motivated since the Kentucky game last year.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of those factors into the development of the program because that comes back to the culture talk of the offseason about the relationships with the players and coaches. Well, that didn't appear there in the first game, right? And then execution, quarterback play, line of scrimmage development, all of that stuff. So I'd say program development has not been there for Tennessee. It's gone the wrong direction.
You seem to have a young team that either does not know for sure, especially on defense, where they're supposed to line up, what they're supposed to do. And I hear Jeremy Pruitt say we can't make any mistakes. Well, if you've got a young team, you're going to make mistakes. The General's maximum #1 was the team that makes the fewest mistake wins. So to say we can't make any mistakes, I don't like the message that sends to the players.
So fewest mistakes. It doesn't say the team that makes no mistakes.
But I mean, he keeps saying we can't afford to make any mistakes.
I think there's been a disconnect with this coaching staff and the players for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pinpoint that. But, John, we talked about this a minute ago. The very last thing Jeremy Pruitt said on the Ball Network was, we don't have enough guys that can play winning football right now. He didn't say that aren't. He said that can play winning football. And that's a pretty strong indictment, I think, on your team. So I think there's been a disconnect with the coaching staff and the players so far.
And again, when you make a comment like that, how do you then go back into the room and say, all right, now's our chance to beat Georgia? Now, we don't have enough guys who can play winning football. I'm talking to somebody. You can't do it. But let's go beat Georgia. I just think that's difficult. You know, I used to say with Butch Jones, maybe he needs to do the yes, no, yes answers. Maybe Jeremy Pruitt needs to go to that too. Because these kind of comments, I just wonder if there's a disconnect between the players and coaches. I agree with you. I think there is. And if you've got comments like this being made, I don't see how that doesn't tie into the disconnect. But that's just,
Agree.
it's an outsider guessing. All right. When we come back, it's our Beat the House segment. Moneybags Hodge over here bet big on Florida last week. We'll show you how far in the standings he is ahead of all the rest of us. But Chuck, in between breaks, has been trying to figure out a good line that will split our panel to where half will take Tennessee. He was shocked, I think, what Josh and I said. So we'll see where Chuck sets the line for Tennessee, Georgia next. Come on back.